Hello YouTube, Tinfoil Hat Lady here. You know, I haven't done a random reading for a really long time, and I don't want to do, something that's going to be a copyright infringement. So we'll see how this one goes, whether or not I make it a revenue sharing video. So here we go. Tinfoil Hat Lady here with a new book, a new random reading. Flying Serpents and Dragons, The Story of Mankind's Reptilian Past by R.A. Boulay. Interesting little book. Now, some of you might know about this reptilian thing, but apparently there's a theory that our species, where we come from, because it's kind of odd that we're here all naked like this on this planet. We don't seem to really be, able to handle the elements and stuff. So are we here naturally, the missing link? The jump in the difference in the skull and that missing link is pretty interesting. Pretty big jump. So there's a theory that a reptilian species actually genetically engineered us to be a worker for them. And they looked, pretty creepy because they're like reptilian. But in order for us to be able to procreate ourselves and live on this planet, they had to kind of tinker with our DNA. And that made us more mammalian than reptilian. More mammalian than reptilian. But there's an old book called the Haggadah. Now, I'm going to spell that for you. H-A-G-G-A-D-A-H. Haggadah. Now, in this ancient document, it says that when Adam and Eve were first created, they had a different kind of skin. It was luminous, it was thick and horny. What is the exact quote here now? Had been overlaid with a horny skin. Bright as daylight and covered the body like a luminous garment. So Adam didn't need to wear clothes, Adam and Eve, they didn't need to wear clothes until after the fall of man, when they ate from the tree of knowledge, and the skin fell away. And they realized their nakedness. So it's really creepy to me how this story almost turns on, blaming us. Talk about blaming the victim. The poor little genetically created species, tinkered with species, blaming us now. I think our parents were horrible. Anyways, if this is true. So this is what they say. And also that Adam didn't sweat. Once they left the garden, you were now going to go out and earn your living by the sweat of your brow. Well, reptiles don't sweat. So once the mammalian genetics overtook the reptilian genetics, they're saying in this book, we looked more like we do now with, naked and not really like a reptile per se. Also that they had a pale green skin or hide. Again, in this book, the Haggadah, it said that Adam was created from dust, and we know that Adam was created from dust, from clay, and the dust was of various colors: red, black, white, and green. Red, black, white, and green. Red stood for the blood. Black apparently stood for the bowels. White was for the bones, and green was for the skin. Maybe if he was a Homo sapien, you'd think that the dust or the clay would have been brown or pink or green. Anyway, it's so interesting to me. And then apparently, the more generations that went by, the shorter the lifespan became. This reptilian genetics, apparently the lifespans were really long. Like the antediluvian patriarchs, they lived for a really long time. Enoch begat Methuselah, Methuselah begat Lamech, I believe, blah blah blah. Regardless, this is a very interesting book. Again, R.A. Boulay, and it's called Flying Serpents and Dragons. Now, I didn't read anything specifically straight out of the book, so I hope that copyright infringement's not gonna catch me there, but I just wanted to read that to you guys as a random reading. It's kind of an interesting thing. We do love our dinosaurs and our dragons, and I even have some little dragons right here that are so cute. Here we go. These kind of little dragons that you can buy, and they always have their little their cute little rock. You know, we love our little dragons. And maybe that's why we have this love-hate relationship. Also, I always thought about, you know, how God could never be depicted, or God could never be seen, you know, always behind veils or up on top of the ziggurat there, you know, and priests as intercession. Maybe it's because they were just so creepy looking. And, you know, the concept of burnt offerings always stayed with me in Sunday school. Burnt offerings, you know, you had to burn an animal, and God liked that. Well, maybe if God was a big, you know, flying reptile, he might like a burnt goat. He might even like a burnt human. Maybe just a raw human. Ah! Regardless. Interesting. Puff the magic dragon lived by the sea. Don't get chipped.